The private sector plays a catalytic role in the development of any given country. In this particular episode of Doing Business in Rwanda, we are at the Kigali Convention Center, where the Rwanda Development Board organized the 7th edition of the Business Excellence Awards to recognize as well as award some of the key players in the private sector, as well as their efforts in creating a sustainable economy. I am your host, Naringwa Fiona Muthoni.
Today, we are here to celebrate what Rwandese and foreign investors achieved in 2019. As you may know, Rwanda's economy grew significantly over the last 10 years at an average of 8%. In 2019, the GDP growth averaged 8.4%, 12.2%, and 11.9% in the first, second, and third quarter respectively. This is an amazing performance that demonstrates the effort we've all put in. Citizens, private sector, and the government, we've all worked together towards this performance. It is expected that in this year, Rwanda's economy will continue its growth trajectory, reaching at least 8.1%. For this target to be met, we need to maintain partnership with the private sector, as well as work harder to even surpass projections, and previous years have proven that we can.
Started organizing the Business Excellence Awards, and this is the 7th time that we are organizing it. The main objective is to celebrate business performance in order to, one, thank them for contributing to the economy, but also to showcase their success to the rest of the business community. And by doing so, we expect that we shall inspire good practices, good innovations, and for others to follow suit, so that when they do that, then the amount of investments in our country will only increase because of such platforms that we give for inspiration and for growth.
The goal was to have a platform where companies could be celebrated and highlighted, and to draw attention to their successes, draw attention to their aspirations, to serve as, again, examples for others. And I think this was the goal. The goal was really to do that, to also instigate, I think, an element of pride in what's been accomplished, a pride in how much the private sector is growing and how much it's expanding. And that goal, I think, has continued to develop. This year we had over 180 applicants, 180 companies that wanted to be part of it. And that's up significantly from where it was when we started. So every year it really expands.
Over 180 applications were received in the 11 categories that were presented. The awards aim to encourage competitiveness among enterprises, and they also promote an innovative business culture here in the country.
We were nominated and won Young Entrepreneur of the Year, which is an award to recognize I believe, the young talent in the country. People are investing their time into developing Rwanda, but are under 30 years of age. I mean, I really feel like it's a thank you, it's a recognition, but it's also a push in the back to say that you need to keep working more. You know, you need to deserve this award. You need to work as hard as possible to make sure that this award, the RDB just, trusted you to have, you deserve it. So to us, it's a tap in the back to be like, this year you have to keep doing more.
Very happy to get this award. Yeah, it's we see it as a recognition of effort that we've been putting in 2019 to boost exports and to grow our company.
It was a very competitive category if you look at the people that were nominated, but with MTN Rwanda last year we launched the first ever cashless expo, and first ever not only in Rwanda but across Africa. This is where customers could buy expo tickets within the comforts of their home by using their mobile phone. And typically when this is done, it's done using QR codes in an application, but we did this over SMS, so the reach was much, much bigger. First of all, visiting the expo, there were 400,000 100,000 visitors last year, and all of these people bought tickets via our mobile solution. What that did is save the PSF, which is the organizing body for the trade fair, 200 plus million Rwandan francs, which is a huge saving on their part, which they were then allowed to reinvest in other areas to make the expo a whole lot more better.
So we've been growing export volumes every year. So we also have grown the number of countries to which we export. So currently now we export to different countries. We export mainly East Africa, South Sudan, the whole East Africa. We also go beyond Africa. We export product to Myanmar. So in terms of volumes that we have moved in 2019, I would give an indication. So it's around 32,000 tons of our finished product. So the numbers, revenue is amounting to around 36 million US dollars.
We started the company 5 years ago as a team of 4 people. Now we're at 15, hiring as well as 6 interns, so 21. So that is a very big leap for us. So in the last 5 years, we've been creating made in Rwanda products, but that serve a global audience. We've had the chance to work with Rwandan companies like Volkswagen, like the government of Rwanda, with doing the whole redesign of all government websites. But we've also worked with international companies, bringing to life projects. I believe technology is one of the sectors which knows no limits. We're not confined by boundaries, we're not confined by borders. We can work on the internet. It's global, it's everywhere. So it has the capability of creating something here and be used in Germany like we've done in the past. So I believe it has a lot of potential, and a lot more people should actually go into it because there's still way more things to be done. We haven't even scratched the surface yet.
The government of Rwanda undertook measures to improve the role of the sector in the economy. The market was diversified. Structural reforms such as business regulations, role of the law, protection of property rights, and government effectiveness were introduced, thus resulting to growth of investment and innovations in the country.
Well, there's lots of things, new things that have happened in the economy. Making of fortified foods, to encourage nutrition was a new investment that we had the last year. IT companies that are producing products like Osamity that have produced a mobility solution for VW in Rwanda. MTN also had an app that they showcased today, which was also innovated last year. We have companies that have gone into construction materials. Today, the investor of the year is in steel production. 10 years ago, we're importing all the steel that we had in the country. So whether it's services, whether it's tourism, we've seen very new investments, new products that were not there in the country, and we can only encourage this to grow further. And we've seen already that doing this among many other actions that we put in place, investments keep growing year on, year out. Last year we finished with $2.46 billion, which was a 22% growth from the year before, which was $2 billion. And if you compare with 2010, it was less than $400 million. So this growth of investments for us is an indication of the business community in Rwanda and outside Rwanda believing in the sustained conducive business environment, and which will keep improving also.
Rwanda's population is young, and they are empowered by the government to play a more prominent role in shaping the country's economic trajectory in all sectors.
Amina works with so many young people, more than 12,000. They are all over in what we do in various initiatives. There are some that are cooperatives, some that are individuals, some that are in the companies, some that are in services. So what we appreciate is that they are getting excited about agriculture sector and agribusiness in general, and we try to find any opportunity that is around, and we make sure that they are taken along. We even go to an extra mile to discuss with them the business opportunities, even trying to provide some of the basic tools that they may need to be able to initiate their companies and their businesses.
We have young people who are really eager to learn. So that's, for us, it's the most important thing, because learning, willing to learn and being able to learn is much more important than knowing things. So when you look at the capacity, the skills that are here, of course, manufacturing is not something that has been in Rwanda for many years, But as we go year by year, you see people then mastering it, so they got trained, and they really get those skills and even train others. An example that I could give is that we will use also the same. We take the same people also to go to other countries where we want to expand, to start new factories in other countries. So what you will lack probably is then the people with very long experience in manufacturing, with high technology. But again, this is something that comes with the experience, that comes with the years and industry growing and industry maturing.
I set up the company when I was 18, so it's that easy and it's that doable. And the government has really made it so that young companies like us can get big opportunities. The model we use is that most of our employees are self-taught, so these are people who actually hack their way to doing what they do right now. So they learned it themselves, they mastered their craft, and they're doing it with us. And the approach we've actually done is our method of recruiting, which we've just done with 6 new recruits, is hiring people who are just fresh out of high school, fresh out of university, train them ourselves, and then bring them into the workforce. So I really believe there's spaces, not just with us, but there's more and more companies who are providing trainings and upskilling people, because we know sometimes school is not enough, and you need to give that extra push to people.
I think the skill set within Rwanda, it's young and vibrant, and with young, energetic individuals, it's very easy to mold and shape the type of skill set that we'd like to build. A lot of emphasis from MTN, within MTN and outside as well, has been to educate people around digital, what the future holds, and we're really encouraged by the absorption rate of the individuals that we encounter.
Rwanda aims to have a viable private sector that can become the principal growth engine. We get to understand the feedback that has been received from the Business Excellence Awards and what should be improved.
Really judging by the enthusiasm and judging by the submissions, I think, is really important. I think every year we try to change a little bit the criteria for the categories to address some of that feedback. And I think this year, again, if I look at each one of the categories, and there were 11 this year, there's really criteria, 8 to 10 different key criteria within each category. So we've tried to expand it, we've tried to address feedback from previous years to, again, allow it to be more accessible to others, and we'll continue to do that.
Our economy is growing quickly, and we are encouraging more investments in the country. We are promoting the private sector. I think taking off one night among many nights that we have and recognize them and tell them how much we appreciate their business. It's a good initiative.
I think the rankings of Rwanda speak for themselves. Second in Africa on the ease of doing business ranking, and 38th across the entire globe. All I would encourage Rwanda to do is keep on doing what they're doing today. It makes a whole lot of a difference when it comes to the private sector players such as ourselves. Doing business here is really, really easy, and we're encouraged by all the efforts that the government is putting in place.
Now, there you have it. You've heard from both the private sector as well as the government on what are some of the efforts that are being put in place in order to create a conducive environment for the private sector here in the country. Now, that brings us to the end of today's edition of Doing Business in Rwanda. I was your host, Naringwa Fiona Mothoni. As always, if you have any questions, suggestions, or you'd like to interact with us, write to us on Twitter at CNBC Africa. Thank you so much for watching. It's bye for now.